Now we're going to talk about the first book I read in 2020 and like starting off the year good with this, and that is The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. Now, I will admit that I had reservations about reading this because I don't really know anything about King Arthur, and I'm not really into knights and princesses and damsels in distress. It's not really my thing. So I'm like, really? Like, I don't really want to read this, but I try to give every Owl Crate book at least a benefit of the doubt. And I try to read it, and then I go on Goodreads and I see like if you're looking at it on like desktop and not like your mobile phone or something, you'll have like a little section. You have like the book right here, and there's a section that says like readers who read this also enjoyed. And so I usually scroll through that, and there was a couple that I was like, well, I really liked that book, so I was like, okay, well, let's just try it. And oh my God, was I not disappointed. Like, I went into this book thinking, meh, it's King Arthur and princesses and knights and things that I'm not really into, but it was great. Like, let's get into it. So, characters. Guinevere is not actually Guinevere. This isn't a spoiler. It's like in the first like 10 pages that she's Merlin's daughter, and Merlin has sent her in Guinevere's place because the actual Guinevere died. And so he's sending her in Guinevere's place to marry Arthur and like protect him and like be his queen and stuff. So I loved her. She's such a strong character, and it's not like one of those, she's not written like, oh, I'm such a badass. And yeah, I mean, she is, and like she has magical powers, but she's also really insecure about herself, and she doesn't know what's going on, and sometimes, you know, she's a dumbass, but hello, growth. That is why they start out as like really insecure and not really know what they're doing, and then they become the badass that they were always meant to be. Like, I love Guinevere, and I cannot wait to see where she goes in subsequent novels. Then we have Arthur. Arthur's a cinnamon roll, and I love him, and he must be protected at all costs. But he can also be like really sexy when he's like battling people, or like at the end when he battles you know who, if you've read it. I was like, ugh, made me want to watch Camelot. Like, I have the first season with Jamie Campbell Bower as the title role of Arthur. Made me want to watch it really, really badly. I haven't, but I probably will. Mordred, like, oh, he's so sexy, like in a bad boy type of way. And he's sarcastic and witty, and almost like, oh yes, man, like, I love the bad boy trope, especially if it's done like really well, and Mordred is done so well. And I don't want to spoil anything about Mordred, but like when you meet him, he gives off like shady vibes. There's a good reason for that. And then Lancelot. I can't talk about Lancelot without spoiling something, and that is that Lancelot in this book is a woman. And I was like, I don't know much about Arthurian legends or anything, but I know that like Lancelot and Guinevere have like a thing, which they didn't go that far in this book. I don't know if they're going to go in subsequent novels or whatever, but I was like, Lancelot's a girl. That's interesting. That's different. I like that. I'm digging it. I'm into it. So the plot. Like I already said, Guinevere has been sent to Camelot in place of the dead Guinevere to marry Arthur and protect him, because Merlin thinks that some magical attacks are going to come against Arthur, and he needs protection because Merlin has been banished from Camelot because they're trying to get rid of magic in Camelot. So, yeah. Like I said, I don't know much about the Arthurian legends. I've never seen Camelot, the Broadway musical. I've never seen that. I've never read anything about King Arthur. So I'm basically like going off like what I know from like what I've heard and like in pop culture and stuff. But yeah, it was so good. Like, seriously, if you're really hesitant about reading this book, just try it. Trust me. You will not be disappointed. I loved this book, and I will shout it from the rooftops. It's probably gonna make, like, again, if I did like best books and worst books of like 2020, this would definitely be on the best list. Like, I loved this book. So the chemistry and romance, the chemistry between Arthur and Guinevere is just precious, because they start out and he's like, I know that you didn't really want to marry me. We don't really know each other that well. So, like, I'm not going to expect you to do all the things that a queen should do. Like, they get through this whole book and, like, they don't even kiss. And I don't care, because I love them together so much. Like, it's such a good depiction of people, like, starting off as friends and, like, slowly moving into romantic relationships, and I love that, and I need more of that in books, and I cannot wait to see where their relationship goes in the sequels. The sexual tension between Mordred and Guinevere, I am living for it, because again, it's like Arthur is like this golden boy cinnamon roll, and then Mordred is like dark-haired, mysterious, brooding type boy, and I'm like, love it. And I love I love the sexual tension between Guinevere and Mordred, and I know that by the end, if you've read it, Mordred is no longer in Camelot, and Guinevere is essentially chosen Arthur, but, like, they're not romantic yet, so I cannot wait to see where they take that. I need more. I need more of Guinevere and Mordred, even though their relationship would just be, like, hella toxic, like Jude and Carden levels, but I don't care, because I want more of that. Sorry. I guess we should talk about Guinevere and Lancelot. Like, right now they're, like, best friends, but, like, if it developed into more and she became, like, romantically involved with Lancelot, I would be like, I'm here for it, because I just love their friendship. Like, Guinevere is the first one to figure out that Lancelot is a woman, and then Lancelot competes in a tournament and is named a Knight of the Round Table, basically. And they find out that she's a woman, and Arthur's like, yeah, sorry, you can't be a knight. So, like, by the end, Guinevere is like, I'll be your queen, but she's got to be my knight. Kind of like, she reminds me so much of Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. Like, in the book, she's described as, sorry, there's, like, dust and cat hair floating through my air right now. Story of my life. Anyway, she's described as having, like, dark curls, and, like, I don't remember if it said what her eye color was, but I was imagining her as Brienne of Tarth. I'm sorry, because I love Brienne so much. She's great and deserves the world. So I don't really care how she's described. I'm gonna picture Brienne from Game of Thrones. So yeah, that was my review of the Guinevere Deception. Again, if you're hesitant about trying this, just please try it. Please, please. It was so good, and it was such a great way to start off 2020. So yeah, that's the end of my book reviews for you. I'm gonna go film something else that I'm not gonna tell you about, and you'll just have to wait and see.